Have you checked the children? Your little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Hi everybody, welcome back to the horror show. I'm Marcia Parker.
Rob the Wolfman here, and we are here with another Patron request by none other than Seth Miller. Thank you again, and we are here with Wolf, 1994, starring Michelle Pfeiffer, Jack Nicholson, and a whole slew of big name actors. Actually,
Yeah.
We got we were just talking about him too. The guy from
Spader.
Yeah, James Spader. Got dude from Frasier, Niles.
Niles.
And everything. He's in there. Was it Richard Jenkins?
Yep.
I believe.
Yep, something like that.
But
there's a lot of guys in this. It's like you go for David Schwimmer is in it. He has a cameo.
Yep, you guys know him from Friends and everything as Ross. But no, really quick. So honestly, let's start off with you on your overall thoughts, real quick, Marcia. Like, how did you like it? Because was this your first time watching it, or was this a rewatch?
I remember watching this back in the 90s.
Okay.
Like I watched this. I was VHS. I didn't go to no theater to watch it.
I still have the VHS of this.
Nice. I do remember liking it a lot. I was younger then. And used to 2-hour long movies that I'm not quite as used to anymore. But it was it's still good. I mean, it holds up in the way it's more of a character piece and the character story than an actual horror story. Mm-hmm. I mean, it is a werewolf story, so it does fall in the right realm here, and I think it qualifies. But it wasn't really that scary. But the acting was well done. The wolf is still really fun to watch. The transformation from Jack Nicholson and others. I thought there were some really good ideas and hit points on it, but it was very, I don't know, it's funny how heavy-handed it was in just the transition of a man going through losing his job and his life changing. It definitely was a transitional story.
Yeah, absolutely.
Along with his transition into a wolf. So it was very interesting. I still enjoyed it. It still felt really long. It felt very, very long. Longer than I remember it being.
Okay. Yeah, I will definitely agree. This is it's a slow burn and everything for your werewolf movie. But no, honestly, I still thoroughly just enjoy this as when I first found this flipping through the channels on TV and everything, and it was basically what sucked is when I first came across this was the very ending scene in the barn and everything. But that's what got me heavily interested in everything. I'm like, this looks awesome. This fucking giant werewolf fight. This is badass. Yeah. But no, still the practical effects still hold up to this day. And honestly, we can thank Rick Baker for that.
Yeah. So
if you guys, obviously Rick Baker is in a sense, the resident werewolf expert via makeup. So he did partial work on The Howling. He's most notably known for his work in the transformation scene of American Werewolf in London, on top of Star Wars stuff he's done and countless others. So again, with that talent behind there, again too, it was all practical effects. So that's why it's still going to hold up as well as it does.
Yeah.
But no, overall thoughts, yeah, it's a slow burn of a movie. I'm not going to bullshit you guys on that one. But it's worth the story, especially just because of the fight that Jack Nicholson's character goes through with work, friends, love, and things like that, and just basically retaking of his life after basically it's in a sense it's a story of a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
A man going through a midlife crisis and trying to deal with changes.
Yeah. Not even one of his own doing.
Exactly.
It was forced upon him just as much as the wolf bite was forced upon him. So was the changing of his life. For the better, though. It seems like he landed on top. Mm-hmm. So it was really good.
Most definitely. So let's get real quick into the story. So story is so Jack Nicholson's character Will Randall is on his way back from Vermont after a contract signing. Mm-hmm. And upon his driving back through, he hits a wolf with his car. As he gets out to try and move the animal off the road, he is bitten by the wolf, thus slowly taking hold of his transformation slowly throughout this movie. And what's especially cool, as I liked, is after every night goes by, his features start slowly changing to that of Wolf. He starts getting all of his hair back, his eyesight comes back, his just overall the alpha animal starts coming back, and he takes back hold of everything between his life and his job, between problems that he's having with James Spader's character, who's trying to intrude on his job and basically take it away from him. Yeah. Basically, short and sweet, really, of the story.
He's trying to be, like, not only his job, but he was boinking his wife, too.
Well, it was. Spoiler. Oh, spoiler for a fucking 25-year-old movie.
But, I mean, the whole point is, like, yeah, the whole thing is, like, he's coming, the young wolf is coming to push out the old wolf.
Exactly.
And and it's business, and it is what it is. But, Jack Nicholson's just like, oh yeah, well, you know what? He doesn't know who he's dealing with, and he comes back and he's like, I'm gonna fight.
Even with all the stuff that happens between like Spader and like his wife and whatnot, and then he meets Kristopher Plummer's character, who is actually basically they're buying out his editorial firm, and so it's like tycoon takeover in a sense. And then he meets his Kristopher Plummer's daughter, Laura Alden, which is played by Michelle Pfeiffer. They start this little romance relationship and everything, and it's honestly it's still a really nice it's still a really nice love story wrapped around the story of like the werewolf, and then everything of just like your basic life things that most people go through, especially with work, relationships, and like your midlife crisis kind of thing.
Yeah. I like how they use the werewolf like transformation to help give him the confidence he needed again to like say no, like I'm going to like, okay, my wife sucks, so I'm gonna go like check this out, and she helps him move forward, and then he also is like he's like marking his territory in a few scenes.
That scene still cracks me up. He's like, no, I'm just marking my territory, and you got in the way.
Yeah.
And it's just those little subtle things and everything of that nature of the wolf. It's like, no, this is my job. Like, this is my territory. Back off. Yeah, like, you're not alpha dog, here I am. Exactly.
It was fun. And let's talk about the wolf aspect, too, because do
you want to jump into the effects real quick?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it, because, I mean, it's all tied in, I mean, when you're not watching about his day job stuff and the romance that are budding, like you're having to deal with the actual werewolf part of it, where he does the transformation. He thinks he's having like sick at first, and then next thing you know, he's like taking down a deer with his bare hands, and then like attacking people and jumping over
the gang members in the park and everything during that. Like that's still a scene, even when I'm watching it as a kid, like it freaked me out, honestly. Because like, imagine just walking up to someone and everything, he turns around looking like that.
Yeah, I would have stopped a long time
You're still
ago.
gonna try and pull a gun on him? Like, you're dumb.
Give me all your money, dude. No.
Yeah,
never mind.
like,
Let's go find somebody
you got
else.
yellow eyes and some big ass teeth.
And he's looking at me like I'm dinner. I
Yeah,
don't know.
exactly.
I don't know about this. It was funny though, like when you went to like when they went to the police station, and you saw like the mom there, and she's like, something bit off my kid's fingers, and it's just everything kind of ties together as you go on. I thought that was pretty good.
So basically, but yeah, then the special effects that we had in this movie, like I said earlier, it's all practical. So it's gonna hold up just as well it does even back in the 80s and things like that. Obviously, animatronics are a little bit better nowadays, but it was all going on the original classic style of the werewolf, the wolf man. Is a man in makeup acting everything out. It's not a quadrupedal beast and everything like they've used like in American Werewolf, things like that. But again, one of my biggest things, like I always say, is you stick with practical, your movie is gonna last a lot better through the times. Yeah. Not to mention the amount of acting power we had in this movie.
Oh yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, it helped.
That helped tremendously.
Yeah. But like I love, like you're talking about the effects. I mean, like when you're talking, he wakes up and you can see the way they laid the hair, and it wasn't like fur; it was like his hair.
Yeah, basically it was just like the mutton chops in a sense, slowly coming up through.
Right, but it was so effective, and then the simplicity of just using the eye contacts to signify, okay, yeah, he's got those wolf eyes, and they carried that over to Spader's character and Pfeiffer's. Oh.
Sorry guys, it's a 25-year-old movie. All right, if you guys haven't gone through and saw this, I'm kind of sorry you're sleeping on a good one.
Yeah, but yeah, like other actors, I'll say. But they carried it throughout. But it's effective.
It most definitely is, especially on the I would say the final 15 minutes of the third act.
Yes.
That was, again, it's the heaviest of the practical effects makeup that we get. But holy crap, even like. It's one of the best looking bipedal werewolves and everything, just for a simple man in makeup look. Yeah. And that's Jack Nicholson already has that like animalistic look anyways.
Right.
So the
high cheekbones.
Exactly, and the eyebrows, and yeah. He was, I think, a perfect casting choice for this character.
Yeah. For sure.
Obviously, even James Spader, like he played a awesome asshole.
As one does.
One does, yeah.
No, he was an excellent choice. I felt like everybody was casted perfectly.
They were. Originally, though, like there were some casting differences. Apparently, Marlon Brando was supposed to be Kristopher Plummer's character, which was Laura Alden's father. Sharon Stone was originally cast as Laura Alden. Instead of Michelle Pfeiffer.
I think Michelle Pfeiffer was a better choice.
And what's also cool is like, so basically, like this movie was it was almost like a reunion. And whatnot. So it's got Jack Nicholson, Pfeiffer from Batman.
Yep.
And then you had Jenkins, Pfeiffer, and Nicholson from. Oh, damn it! I'm drawing a blank. If you guys remember, throw that in the comments.
If you said it, I would be like, yeah. That makes sense.
Anyways, we're moving on. Anything else you want to touch on, like for like effects wise, like even honestly, even the puppeteering of the full wolves that we get still looked really nice. They didn't look cheesy or hammy.
Yeah.
Like I think one of them basically they used real wolves and then like the bigger animatronic for like, the close-up shots.
Yeah, I really feel like this movie held up over the course of time. Like you said, the practical effects will do that for you. Especially 1994. Like if we tried any other effects during 1994, we would have totally not have liked this movie as much. I don't think it would have lasted. And I do think it was still a little long. Like I think we could have skipped at least 30 minutes of something, cut back 30 minutes here and there. But it's the 90s. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But I do like the story. I do like the wolf. I mean, once you focus more, when we got back more into the wolf story and the transformation of the wolf,
the folklore of it,
like I think it was really cool to watch it, and it's something that I still remember for as a kid. So when I realized, I'm like, oh, Wolf 1994, that sounds familiar. When I saw the cover, I was like, oh yeah, I love this movie, and I immediately thought about Jack Nicholson as the werewolf. Like I still had that like in my brain, and that says a lot about a movie if over 20 years later and you're like, oh, I do remember that movie. The werewolf was amazing and I still remember it. So like that says a lot. That goes a long ways.
What do you think about the music?
It was good. Nothing really stood out. It was just to me it just was kind of like background. One
thing I did notice is, at least during like his night runs and everything, when he was like the pre-full transformation.
Yeah.
Some of the music in there, it seemed very similar to the dream sequence music that they used in American Werewolf in London.
Oh, okay. I didn't notice, but
yeah, it was,
I haven't
those
watched
things,
those movies in forever. So.
Oh man, I just watched that like a month ago. Again. But yeah,
that's cool.
What is it? So we got cinematography.
I mean, it was good. It was a little grimy, a little bit. It reminds me of 1990s movies. Like it definitely felt like I was, even though I was streaming it felt like I was watching a VHS again, which was kind of nice. And it was so like everybody's clothes were kind of dated, but it flowed nicely. It wasn't choppy. They were telling this story visually. They had some really great shots and locations where on the Alden's property.
Mm-hmm. Those especially were some of the nicer ones, and then even the night shots during his roaming of New York City.
Mm-hmm.
I think those looked like the best shots.
And even just like the building that he worked at was really cool. And there was some fun sound design in the fact, maybe not music, but the sound design when he's like his ears sharpened up and you could like hear the different conversations.
Yeah, when he's realizing things are changing.
Yeah, and like they would hone in on certain conversations while keeping the background noise, and it wasn't incredibly like distracting, but it was super effective because you're like, oh.
Yeah, it's that
like,
thing of him getting overwhelmed of all these new sounds that weren't ever prevalent, and then he's trying to help to filter through each little one.
Yeah, and it was cool. It was cool to. I thought it was really well done because it could go wrong. It could be messy, and they honed it in really well to where you can hear what's happening. You can pick a conversation and bring it up and hear the noise, so you know, like, okay, his ears are changing. You can pick up things now. You can hear people from a floor below, like having a conversation. So. It was really interesting. I thought that was really well done. I think that was probably the last thing I'd say about it. But I think it's worth watching. If you haven't seen it, definitely do. Especially if you're a werewolf buff, you gotta watch this for sure.
Absolutely. And one thing I would say is, like, I'm really curious because originally they were thinking about having Stanley Kubrick come in and direct this instead of something Nichols, where they have and everything. So I can honestly only imagine like how drastically different that movie would have been.
Probably it would have been weird.
It probably would have, and honestly, the way, depending on how, like, well, obviously you guys, you know, I'm sure you guys are familiar with Kubrick and everything. You know his style, so yeah, I don't know. I think it was definitely a better idea that Nicholson hired the director that he did instead of them going with their original choice. Yeah,
I think it would have been a completely different tone of the movie, and I think the one that we have was correct. Like, it needed, it was, they were telling his story, and his transition in life and transition from man to animal. So I think the slower, even though it is a slower pace, but it made more sense that it was flowy, not choppy, and artistic in a way. I think it was more, it was kind of like a horror melodrama in a way, right?
I could see that. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, but it worked. I still enjoyed it. So.
All right, well, there you have it, guys. So, pretty much, I think that's gonna about do it for this little review of Wolf and everything. If you guys haven't checked this out, like I said, you guys are sleeping on a good one. It's a little bit of a slow burn. Like, we're gonna warn you on that. But it's the other little details that'll help you get through it, because there's a lot of little things in the story that you do and should pay attention to, so that way you can get that overall story of why basically Randall's doing or acting the way he is to a point, and then everything else is tying in between. So other than that, yeah,
you can get it for a couple bucks on Amazon.
Yeah,
like,
honestly though,
I think I even got it on like, it was like 30 cents off. It was like, it was so cheap.
There's that, or honestly, I would recommend just putting it in your library if you guys haven't already. Like, it's definitely worth the owning. That's just me.
I don't own anything anymore. I just rent
she's all
and move
digital
on.
and
I
all
rent
that.
things and move on.
Damn millennial.
What are you gonna do? I used to have racks of VHS and DVDs, and now they just sit in boxes. So.
Nah, well, there you have it, guys. All right, so this is So thank you again, Seth, for the request on Wolf.
Yes, thank
as always.
you. I loved having this movie, watching this movie again. I probably wouldn't have rewatched it.
Oh, really?
I haven't. Well, I just don't think about it. I have so many
True.
other things like in front of me.
That's very true.
So it's nice that I got, like, hey, watch this. Oh yeah, I've
and
seen this on
that's
time,
definitely
so
one
it's
thing
really
I
fun.
will say, guys, is like, it's the really nice thing, especially with the Patreon things, is whether it be things we wanted to watch and honestly forgot about, and it just got passed through the sands of time, and then it comes back. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I wanted to watch this, or cool, hell yeah, I wanted to go back and rewatch this. I haven't watched it in forever. Even like another review that we got coming up later with Fuego. So stay tuned on for that one later. All right, and if you guys want to become a Patreon, link is down there in the description. Hit that notification bell, the like button, and everything, so you stay up to date and see all of our beautiful faces for all of our awesome spooky reviews. But other than that, from here at the Horror Show, I've been Rob with Wolfman.
And I'm Marcia Parker.
And remember,
Stay
stay scared.